Kansas City is 159 years old. Many landmarks have been built in that time. Some are still standing, and others are long gone.
Now, one monstrous structure in one of the city's oldest neighborhoods is somewhere in between all of that. New at 10, Zach Tecklenburg shows us a place many of you likely didn't even know existed.
Many of the areas in Kansas City's historic northeast section could be described as off the beaten path. Old homes rest in one of the city's original suburban neighborhoods. Lining the northern edge is the Cliff Drive Scenic Byway, with views of the industrial East Bottoms and natural beauty in the heart of the city. But along the western portion of the drive in Kessler Park,
quite a large piece of real estate here.
Although large, it's something drivers will likely miss.
The only thing I remember is the huge concrete abyss and the iron fence.
And that's what still remains to this day of an old reservoir dug into a relatively remote hill within 2 miles of downtown Kansas City. Kent Dykes has known about the reservoir his whole life, though its existence is a mystery to many outside the historic Northeast.
You try to describe what the reservoir is. It's really difficult because you have to see it to really understand it.
The reservoir was built in 1920 to supply water to area homes and industries. It's 591 feet long, 225 feet wide, and can hold millions of gallons, but the vast majority of its existence, it sat empty. The reservoir was drained in 1931 after only 11 years of use. Problems with leaking and an outdated design sealed its fate.
You know how nature is. It's going to reclaim it if it's ignored.
That's exactly what more than 80 abandoned years have done. Trees and weeds now poke through cracks, railings have rusted. Humans have transformed the reservoir too, turning once clean concrete into an outdoor urban art gallery.
Other than that, not a lot has changed. As you can see, there's not any development here.
As president of the Northeast Kansas City Historical Society, Dykes hopes that can change.
I don't think it should be preserved to decay like this.
Dykes thinks of the reservoir as a blank slate with tons of potential.
It'd be wonderful to have a restaurant up here because you can see views from all directions, outdoor activities.
But that's easier said than done.
Anyone can have an idea. It's about finding a way to implement that idea that is a lot harder.
Adam Schieber is president of the Cliff Drive Corridor Management Committee and of course has visions of his own.
I love to see a mountain bike park. I've also had the rock climbing groups in Kansas City over here and said that you can do practice rock climbing along the walls.
Finding that dedicated group with the money has been the biggest challenge, though recent momentum in Kessler Park gives Schieber hope. The park recently received nearly $1.5 million for improvements like a bike path connecting it to downtown and a scenic overlook. He thinks improvements to the reservoir could be next.
It would be a draw that would go well beyond just the neighborhood and even just beyond Kansas City proper.
Whatever happens, Dykes says it has to be done right.
We do believe in preserving our past. I think it has to be realistic and not just preservation, but also preservation with a purpose.
A lasting decision that could put an unknown oddity onto the mainstream map. Now, since the reservoir is located in Kessler Park, it's under the control of Kansas City Parks and Recreation, and we want to know if you've ever been to the reservoir and what you think should be done with it. You can join the conversation on our 41 Action News Facebook page. We've also posted a photo gallery inside this story at kshb.com.